When it comes to famous European cities, London, Paris, and Rome are some of the biggest names and tourist hotspots. I've been to all three, and if you're wondering which one you should go to for vacation, then this video is for you. I'll go over the culinary scene of each city, top must-visit attractions, how easy it is to get around, culture and language, and my own thoughts and recommendations for which city might be best for you. Let's start off with food in London. Everyone knows the meme that British food is terrible, but London actually has a strong culinary scene since it's a diverse and multicultural city. Everyone knows fish and chips as the most famous British food, but chicken tikka masala, which is an Indian British dish, is just as famous and popular. The idea that British food is terrible actually can be a benefit, since it doesn't restrict your food options. When you go to Paris, you feel like you have to eat French food for almost every meal, since French food has such a good reputation. Same logic applies for Rome, where you have to get Roman food all the time. Meanwhile, in London, you can go get high-quality Neapolitan pizza in the afternoon from a famous chain from Naples like 50 Calo, and then have delicious fine dining French food for dinner. If you want high-quality Spanish food, that's also available. The culinary scene is not as diverse as my wonderful hometown of NYC, but it's up there, and you can find most cuisines you want in London. As long as you do your research, you shouldn't be crying that the food scene sucks. On to Paris. Everyone knows how French food is highly praised, and this is one of the best cities in the world for French food. I have a video on my channel that explains all the delicious French food you must eat in Paris, if you want to check that out. Aside from French food, Paris is also pretty multicultural. There's a little Japan near the Louvre if you like Japanese food, although my French friend told me it used to be way better before 2020. I think most people can be happy just sticking with French food on their trip. Whether you want delicious cheap French food or insanely expensive Michelin-star fine dining, Paris has it all. Finally, Rome. Italian food is also very highly praised, and in Rome, you have to try the 4 famous Roman pastas and Roman pizza. I have a video on my channel that explains all the delicious Roman food you must eat in Rome, if you want to check that out. There's international food in Rome, but I don't think the scene is as strong as London or Paris. I will say that if you need a protein-rich diet, then you might not enjoy the culinary scene in Rome, since it's very carb-heavy with all the pastas. It can be cheaper than London and Paris, since the fine dining scene isn't as good, and you don't need to do fine dining to enjoy the best food. For must-visit attractions, London has a lot of things. There's the Tower Bridge and the Tower of London, which houses the crown jewels. The British Museum is a must-visit if you like museums, and the Rosetta Stone is there. Big Ben, Westminster Abbey, and the London Eye are near each other, so you can get your tourist photos done. If you like art, the National Gallery is also a must-visit, and there's many famous artworks there. If you like observation decks, then instead of going to the Shard, go to Sky Gardens, which are free. If you want to relax in nature, you can go to the famous Hyde Park. I also suggest taking a half-day trip to Stonehenge, since it's a very cool experience. Paris also has a ton of things to do. Of course, you need to go to the Eiffel Tower to snap some pictures, in the afternoon and at night. If you want to do some shopping, or window shopping, head over to check out the Arc de Triomphe and walk down Champs-Élysées. The world-famous Louvre Museum is there, and it's a must-visit, even if you aren't the biggest fan of museums. You can explore the Louvre the entire day and barely scratch the surface. If you want to discover another side of Paris, you can explore the beautiful Montmartre neighborhood. Notre Dame is also rebuilt now, and you can visit it. I also recommend taking a half-day trip to the Palace of Versailles as it's one of the most famous attractions in France. There's a reason Rome is called the Eternal City, and there's just so much history everywhere. If you're a history nerd, you'll love Rome. The Colosseum and Roman Forum are a must visit. You can spend a day at these two, and it's visited and ticketed together. The Pantheon is also very impressive, and something worth checking out. If you want beautiful pictures, there's the Trevi Fountain. There's also the Spanish Steps if you want more pretty tourist photos. Honestly, you can just explore random neighborhoods and admire all the history. I also recommend a half-day trip to Vatican City. It's a cool place to see, and it has a lot of meaning if you're religious. Getting around in all three cities is very simple. In London, the tube and the bus will get you to all the major attractions easily. I never had to call Uber when I was visiting. In Paris, the metro and bus will also get you to all the major attractions easily. I did call Uber a few times due to some time crunches where I couldn't wait for the bus, and Uber worked great there. In Rome, the metro and bus will get you to all the major attractions easily. Uber in Rome is a bit different. You can only order Uber Black, which is more expensive than normal Uber, or you can order taxis from Uber, which is normally cheaper than Uber Black. In most cases, you don't need Uber for any of these cities. All three cities are also very walkable. If you really want to, you can skip public transit and just do a 30+ minute walk to your destination. It could be more fun to walk to your destination, since you get to explore the city more, and you can get some small bites along the way. So, what's the culture like in each city? Everyone knows about pub culture in London. You'll see crowds of people drinking there and outside. However, unlike American culture, where chatting with strangers is the norm, most Londoners are there with friend groups, and it's more closed off. There's still friendly people who are willing to chat, so just read the room and talk to people who seem open. One of the good things about London is that everyone speaks English, so you don't need to worry about learning another language. If you've never been to Europe before, I would suggest London as your first destination, since it has a lot of similarities with America. On to Paris. Paris has a negative stereotype that people are unfriendly and snobby, but that's not true. Parisians are willing to be helpful. It's just they don't smile as much as Americans. It's also important to greet properly before every interaction with a simple bonjour. Knowing some simple French will make your trip much better. You can try ordering in French, but service workers will often just speak to you in English, since they can tell you're a tourist. Breakfast culture in Paris is also very different compared to America. Breakfast in Paris is often very light, with just a croissant and coffee. There's a joke that Parisian breakfast is just a croissant and a cigarette. Meanwhile, American breakfast is more heavy, and there's more protein-rich food. Cafe culture is also a huge thing in Paris. Parisians are willing to just sit down and talk for hours at a cafe, compared to America, where that isn't common at all. Finally, Rome. Roman breakfast is very similar to Parisian breakfast, where Romans get a sweet pastry, an espresso, or coffee. Gelato culture is also a big thing, as Romans will have gelato at any time of the day, including mornings. It's actually necessary to cool down, since summers can be quite hot. Just like with Paris, learning some simple Italian will make your trip much better. Service workers know English, so you don't need to worry. Pacing of food at restaurants is much slower than in America, and the staff don't always check in with you if you like your food. Slower pace and less check-ins from waitstaff is true for London and Paris as well. Here's my thoughts and recommendations. I mentioned before that if you've never traveled to Europe before, then London is the perfect start, since you don't need to worry about learning another language. It's very similar to my hometown of NYC. It really felt like European New York. If you like Indian food, then you'll like London, since it's supposed to have the best Indian food outside of India. If you like art and museums, then Paris is perfect for you. The world famous Louvre is there, and there's also many other great museums or galleries there. If you love French food, then Paris would be a great choice. If you're traveling with a significant other and you want a more romantic trip, then Paris is the best choice. It might be all the movies, or maybe there's just something in the air that gives Paris this romantic vibe. If you're a huge history nerd, you'll love Rome. Every day will be an adventure, and you'll love the Colosseum and Roman Forum. Exploring all the neighborhoods and seeing all the history will make you very happy. If you love Italian food, then Rome will be your city. For me, Rome was my least favorite of the three, but everyone is different and has different tastes. If you're still not sure which to visit, then drop a comment and I'll try to help. Thanks for watching. If you want to watch more food content, click on the video shown on the end screen.